Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to present to you the first high school sports show of our careers. No, well, we used to do just stuff for high school, but for playoffs. But now we're going to be here every Wednesday.
Okay, first show jitters.
Get in here. Yeah, we're all nervous. We're all scared.
Got a lot of stuff to cover today, guys.
And the first thing we're going to talk about, if you saw my Twitter, it's not even going to be high school related.
Oh, yeah.
If you live in the Milwaukee area, you know what happened today, and obviously some of us are, very concerned about it. Just looking around, we're not concerned about it, but we were like, come on. All right, let me just pull her up behind us. And somebody's knocking. Jeez, somebody's pounding on the ball behind us. Like, come on, man, we're trying to do a show here.
Well, you guys can see it, though.
There you go. So an era came to an end in Milwaukee today. Chris Middleton to the Washington Wizards for Kyle Kuzma.
And Patrick Baldwin.
Yeah, that's the one thing I said, former standout hometown
Hamilton
coming back to Milwaukee. He played at UWM. He's going to be a part of let's just say the Bucks lower levels, I think, first. He's not going to actually play for the Bucks, but they said, if he gets in the game, he's one of 6 Horizon League members that would play for the Bucks in the past. And I was saying George Hill was one. I forget who the other one was. Or the other 5.
IUPUI, George Hill, I think, yeah.
But
yeah.
I know it's a thing that people didn't think that would actually happen.
We rode together today to school, and unfortunately, that was the first thing I saw when I texted him that I was on the way. I went in my car and I said, "Oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me, man! This is." Usually the Bucks GM knows better than that. He's made a lot of good trades.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's a very sad situation on how John Horst, the Bucks GM, dealt with it. I still think we could have swapped him for a bigger superstar like Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing rumors about KD.
And speaking of that, you can comment on this video, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter or X, whatever you want.
Let's hear your thoughts about this trade.
It caught me by surprise this morning because, there were a lot of rumors yesterday that says, Chris is going to get traded. But
I was really hoping it was fake. I was hoping it was fake rumors, but – I do think there are some positives of trade still. Obviously, he's a little bit younger than him, Kyle Kuzma, and he could score still. We were talking about it earlier. Kuzma the last 3 games scored at least like 20 points, but he's going to be a third option. So and watching Giannis's interview that I couldn't hear it because they kept turning up the volume in his interview. He looked pretty emotional, just like how we all were too. I was almost getting a little teary-eyed this morning because. Not a lot of times you could see a guy like Giannis be teammates with Chris Middleton for 12 years. That's something.
He's here for 12 years, and then Kyle Kuzma's the one that relieves him when he leaves.
We'll
see. Something you would have thought of, but
we'll let only God knows what could happen for the future.
Our fortune cookies at Panda Express might tell us different. The Bucks might make a move tomorrow.
I think mine said something about like.
What did mine say? Let me pull it up.
I need to check mine too. It was something that I actually think could connect to the trades. Trade deadline's at tomorrow at 3 p.m. and.
Any doubts you have will soon disappear. So any doubts that the Bucks will not make another move are going to disappear.
Mine.
Just trust Panda Express. They'll tell you right there.
Mine said pleasant news is on the way. That's just all it said.
So ours puts together. That means the Bucks will make a move sometime tonight or tomorrow.
I'm a little bit frustrated. My last thing I'm going to say about this topic, I'm a little frustrated about John Horst, but he still has just a little under 24 hours to make one more move that I could see something.
Someone keeps knocking. But anyways, I'm not gonna let that. Let's just turn that off. It's a situation that not many people expected, but it happened, and I guess now we got to work through it and just see what the Bucks play tonight. Obviously, they play the Hornets, who I know are not very good at all, but you never know.
Yeah. Before we get off this topic, I just want to say that all the fans that are saying like Giannis is going to want out because of this, I wouldn't agree with that because Giannis. You could tell how dedicated he is to the franchise. I know his best friend just left, but he's still. I still think he's very committed to the franchise. It's hard to believe it, but I think he might have approved the trade.
I know. I saw that rumor too this morning. But just keep in mind about Giannis too. He's still making the highest paid that he can get in the league if he stays in Milwaukee.
He could probably get one more Supermax if he wanted to.
That's what I'm saying. So Chris is your best friend, but money's hard to turn down nowadays. People have learned that.
I do love Chris too, but the downsides that he had this year was his defense because obviously as you get older you get a little bit slower. Even myself playing pickup ball, I notice I'm getting slower too almost almost no longer a teenager.
Yeah, I mean, look at me when I'm running down the court, even with your youth kids. I run two times up and down the basketball court. I'm like, yeah. When you get older, basketball's tough. But at 20 years old in the NBA, they're not expecting you to huff and puff.
But yeah, I mean, this is still on the topic of NBA, but for a quick second here, how about that Luka Doncic trade to the Lakers? That was something.
That was.
I screamed, what? I screamed, what? When I got
ready to go night.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? The Shams hacked?
That was the same night we were at the border battle, right? And then I was at home, and I was just getting ready to go to bed, and I see Shams tweet that out, and I was like, I know everybody was thinking this too. Everyone thought it was a joke.
Yeah, so
that was a joke too.
I'm like, you know what? Some crazy crap is going on here, and then it actually happened. I'm like, really? Luka Doncic to the Mavericks?
Just like my famous one of my famous broadcasting lines, buckle those seatbelts. This is going to be a very intense next 24 hours of the trade deadline with any team, including my Milwaukee Bucks.
24 hours from now, we'll know
what the Bucks roster is going to look like. Hopefully, once they get to the playoffs,
we'll know what the playoff roster holds by then. But yeah, I got.
We'll let fate decide.
We'll let fate decide. All right, so let's see. Do I have the next slide up? What are we talking about next?
Playoff football matrix.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about the board of control and
probably what most people are here to talk about.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to talk briefly about NBA. A lot of big stuff going around with the trade deadline looming.
Where is it? I'm not going to pull that up quite yet. I'll talk about that more in a minute. I was going to keep today's episode sponsored by Google. Yeah, right. Yeah. They give us a sponsor. So
we want to go to the teams that are playing well right now, guys and girls.
We'll start with WA Border Control.
Border Control?
Yeah, because Todd Clark, our friend, sent some from the WIA, a press release about all what happened today. So what the heck am I doing here? Okay, developing. So WIA Border Control passed several things. A lot of it had to do with the football playoffs. And, they're just talking about, how, let's see, looking at my phone here, my email that I got. Some about teams will be divided equally in 7 divisions based on enrollment and application to performance factor for 11-player football programs. Teams will qualify and be seeded for 11-player and 8-player football according to a ranking point system. So that's what's new. Programs earn points for each win based on the division of their opponents. Tier 1 of all games. In addition, teams will be rewarded points for Tier 1 victory of their defeated opponents for all games Tier 2. The sum of each tier is divided by the total number of each games played. The total points calculated for each tier is added to determine a team's total point value for ranking within its own division. And you got all this kind of stuff here. And it was the Wisconsin Football Coaches Association that brought that forward. But, I found the sample bracket from last year. So this would have been the football bracket last year. That I will put on the screen behind me. Basically we're just going to do Division 1 for now. And maybe I'll show you some teams that would have not made the playoffs but under this measure, but they did in the regular measure. There's a couple of them. Obviously, we had that issue with some teams missing that we're not supposed to be there and all that. So I'm going to pull it up right now. And
I'm a little bit.
This is Division 1. So
still a little lost on this, but it's only the first day we know about this. So
okay, so this is how the seating would have looked right here. So I'm gonna sit back right here and say, I can move down right here. Good. Oh, I don't have to go over there. Okay.
It's going to be hard to see, but you can probably just read it out.
So Franklin would have been the number 1 seed with the total most points. This was by the new thing. So they would have 31 points. Tier 1 average was 6 points because obviously other than Catholic Memorial and Racine Horlick, they played all Division 1 teams and Racine Park. Tier 2 averaged 2 points because obviously Racine Park, not the best record over there. And Tier 2 might have been helped by Catholic Memorial. That might be all Catholic Memorial. But see, they would have been the 1 seat in Section D. And then looking at this, Kimberly would have been Section D is also Marquette. So they would have been in Section D as well. They would have been 2 seat. But I'll just pull up the bracket, how it looks, familiarize in a minute, just because.
It's pretty much every team's ranked based on almost another seed score, right?
And here would tell you. So the first team out this year would have been Kettle Moraine at 7.17. So they've been the first team in the whole state out of the playoffs this year. But scrolling down, Kenosha Tramper, Milwaukee Pulaski, the worst scorers in the state. Milwaukee Pulaski actually not because they were ineligible because of that whole issue that went down. But Tramper was technically the worst team for football, not tied with Madison East at 0-9. They were the worst 2 teams in the Division 1 bracket with no nothing above 0. But let me pull up the bracket now. This is gonna be tough. Just watch. There you go. All right, so we'll zoom in on this side. If you can see that. Oh gosh.
Well, we can just tell it the way it is. I guess.
View. Could I zoom that in? Oh, I almost got it. Yeah, screw it. I think. You know what? All right, so I'll start on this side. So this side would have been 2. So Kimberly would have been the 1 seed. Wausau West, Bayport would have been the team that actually won the state championship would have been a 4 seed. They would have played Reagan. Then you had Arrowhead, that would have been a 3 seed. Arrowhead
versus the Pier. That sounds like a basketball matchup we've seen the last couple of years.
Yeah, Milwaukee King versus Sheboygan North. But scrolling down here, here's where it's different. Franklin would have been 1 seed, but this year they played Fond du Lac. Fond du Lac wouldn't even been in this sectional. They would have played Milwaukee Marshall, which we know what happened.
Almost looks like it's just like MPS section with a couple of SEC and Classic 8 teams.
And then right here, Racine Case. They had a 3 seed last year. Oconomowoc came to town. Racine Case had been the 4 seed to host the Muskego. Muskego was the 4 seed. They hosted Oak Creek. Oak Creek would have been the 6 seed there. Marquette would have been a 2 seed. And they would have had a seat Bayport. So they might have went back to the state championship. Who knows? But that's not really what happened.
If that happened this year, the results still would have held if it was Franklin Muskego, but Muskego beat them.
And on this side, Oconomowoc, they were a 6 seed. They would have been a 1 seed under this new matrix, which they should have been a 1 seed anyways. But
it's like that looks like a pretty tough sectional right there.
Yeah, so they had Sussex Hamilton, who had to go on the road, which they did against Arrowhead anyways. McWanago would have been a what seed? 2. Yeah. Then Verona would have been a 1 seed, which they were. DC Everest would have been a 4 seed, which that team damn near went to state.
I think Ocon at this. I mean, I know what. Oh, the thing just shut off, but.
Well, until then, watch the thing will blow up now like it did last time.
That's on me. I think I was pressing it too much.
Who knows? Anyways, you guys saw the bracket. What it was kind of look like. If it comes back on, I'll turn around again. That doesn't sound good.
Firing up. If it falls on us, I had a good life. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So that's what the new bracket would look like. If we would have had that bracket this year for the playoffs, that's what I was talking about basically. So Brookfield East, for example, they weren't in the playoffs under the actual bracket. They would have been in the playoffs with this bracket. Greenfield, they missed the playoffs by 1 spot. They would have missed the playoffs in this spot too. Pewaukee, who made the playoffs, they wouldn't have been in under this plan either. So there's so many different things that would have changed. And yeah, I don't know if she went to sleep or what.
Oh, if worse comes to worse, we could just keep it off and just talk about stuff on the way.
She said, "I don't want to listen to these guys no more." That's what she said. So
we just.
I'm just gonna pull it up on here. I have it up in the background. Share screen.
No, we don't need
Where
it.
the heck is it? Oh, right here.
All right, now it's. Oh, it's back on. You can set it on, but it's like dark.
Oh.
Maybe the projector overheated.
So basically, that's what I was talking. Oh my gosh.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it moved back. It moves back. And I love how on Google people can see it. So this would have been the playoffs this year. And this was developed by the Wisconsin Football Coaches Association. I'm not sure the exact name, but I can look after on who came up with this. But this looks like a brilliant idea. Kind of like, oh boy, now it's back up. We'll have it up in the background and on here so people can see it better. But I'll show you like D2, for example. Like down here. Slinger still would have been a 1 seed. Germantown would have had a home game. They went on the road this year. At Cedarburg, Nicolay would have been an 8 seed. Kakana would have been a 2 seed. I'm not sure what they were, but I think they were a 2 seed before. West De Pere would have been a 1 seed. Beaver Dam would have been a 3. Badger would have been a 1. Tosa East would have been a 3. Tosa East, a very improved team. Racine Horlick didn't have that better record. They would have been a 6. Homestead would have been a 2. Union Grove would have been 7. I don't think Union Grove got in otherwise.
All right. I messed it up.
Right. Waterford would have been a 4. Greendale would have been a 7. Grafton would have been a 1. Grafton, always a good team. Notre Dame, obviously we know what they did. They would have been a 1. So there's some things here, just looking at it. That's what the playoffs would have looked like. End of this plan. I'm trying to think what else they passed today, too. And I'll just show you the seed scores for each division, too. Not seed scores, but So this is how the point system would work for each division, kind of like right here. And there's an explainer video. You can head to wissports.net. That's where I got this PDF, is at wissports.net. You can go to that website. Obviously, number one news in Wisconsin for high school sports, but you can go to that website and just see basically what they did here. But yeah, thank God you signed me out too. Now that the thing's going to play games. So here's a list I just had up on the thing before, obviously. And this is unofficial, like everything is. Division 2, let's look at this one's. Scrolling down, Greenfield would have been the first team out. Obviously, we know what happened in their situation with the miscalculated getting in the playoffs. Nicolay, a 3-6 team, would have been in as an 8 seed. Greenfield, 4-5, would have missed the playoffs. Brookfield Central would have been out under this plan. I think they got in too this past year, but they would have been out under this plan.
Basketball?
No, football. Oh, nobody's out in basketball, even if you lose every game.
I'm chilling on the football, but if you got more, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. Yeah. And then Pewaukee. Where's the Pirates? We know their situation. They wouldn't have been in under this plan, but they got in under the other plan. They lost to Notre Dame though.
I was curious though. I want to know a little bit about Greenfield because they were like on that situation too, right?
Yeah, and
they wouldn't be in though.
This plan they wouldn't have been in, but the other plan they were supposed to be in because of the miscalculation. So Greenfield right here, they would have missed out at 5.94. They would have missed out by, well, here it actually tells you their wins. So they would have had West Ellis Hale 2 points, Milwaukee Lutheran 1.94, South Milwaukee 1.33, and Shorewood.
I feel like it'd be hard if there was like a scenario where every team made the playoffs because it'd just be way too long, and you're gonna have teams that like almost feel like they don't want to play. Yeah, playing the best team in the state.
And look at Sling. And here's why Slinger's an number one overall seed. They beat Badger 5.83. Homestead right there 5 points. Cedarburg 5 points, and then Hartford.
Slinger's having themselves a year and everything.
Yeah, they're this year's Marquette possibly. Yeah. Let's see Franklin for example. Here's every point. So Racine Case was their highest point, is 6 points. Catholic Memorial, Oak Creek, Racine Horlick, and then Verona. They obviously had Madison Memorial as their highest points, but scrolling down, Racine Case, a team that was improved. Oak Creek was their highest point win. Oconomowoc, that's the one I want to look at right here because obviously they got the 6 seed, and so they had Arrowhead was their highest point at 5.61. And I don't know how any of this works. I haven't read any of the formulas yet. I don't know
if this is a lot of the same that we see in basketball seed scores too.
Yeah, potentially. Guys,
it's a longer season, obviously. So
leave comments. You can comment, and we'll get to your comment during the show.
All right.
Oh, I forgot to pull this up. How would the playoffs?
Well, we already
we did.
Went through that.
I just forgot to pull it up.
That's all good
because people have been like, "Oh, I want to hear about that."
As long as you went through it.
All right. So I just want to see if there's anything else that they passed that was somewhat important. Not football related. There's some stuff about tennis on here.
I just mainly got notes for basketball stuff, which I didn't read too much into that, but it sounds like a pretty good proposal to get the good teams in for football.
Yeah, let's just see. On our other end, there's actually some comments on here that don't come through on our server here. Okay, we'll get to that when we talk about basketball. One of the comments, that's Instagram. It's weird how the other comments don't come through on here, but I'll have to keep switching tabs to see some of them. But 27 of you apparently honor 27 of you that viewed this, but let's move on now to a weekly review of what's going on right now, boys and girls basketball. My team, my game that I'm going to pull up.
For which one? Or basketball?
It's not going to be the most obvious one last night either. It's not going to be Ashwaubenon De Pere. Well, yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that game, but I have another game.
About what?
A game that just surprised me.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not going to share my screen quite yet. Let's find it. You probably be able to figure it out.
Wait, what are we in the topic of now? Game of the week?
No, I was going to talk about a game that surprised me. I'll pull this one up. This was pretty surprising.
Read it up. No, I'm just kidding. Surprise.
You surprised everyone. That's correct. We had a big one last night.
Ryan Johnson.
We had a big one last night. It was the first Greendale win over Pewaukee since 2016 for boys basketball, and they did it last night, 81-77. The Panthers get the win. Huge win for that program.
It's like the thing with Pewaukee this year.
Yeah.
They used to be like one of the biggest dark horses to beat. Now I just feel like they lost like I don't want to say like they're bad, but they lost a lot of great talent. Like Milan Momcilovic, who's called Mr. Basketball, was Zach Kinzinger, right?
Yeah.
And
Mr. Nebraska.
Janowski last year too. Yep. Almost. I don't know why I keep getting him mixed up with one of his other teammates, Osterman. It's like,
but yeah, this was one that surprised me last night, especially when I was checking
how
through all
that
the
game
scores.
was playing out, or
no, I saw the Pewaukee Twitter account post something like about the score. I'm like, I'm gonna check in this game, and Pewaukee was fighting with them at the end. I thought, hey, you never know here. What did Pewaukee just slimly bring? Nope, they didn't. So Greendale gets that big win.
They're not even doing that bad in the Woodland West.
No, they're not, and definitely one game. They play Greenfield on Friday night. That's probably the biggest rivalry game that's going to be in years between those two.
They got
Greenfield 17-1.
Greendale's got a really big star in Isaj.
Yeah, I think it's
Devin
something. Yeah,
Isaj.
he's pretty good. Let me stop sharing this, and obviously I'll pull up.
We got a lot of great games coming up this week.
We'll just pull up the most easiest one that everyone can guess.
Well, we're going to start with previous games first and then work our way through.
No, I don't want to click on the team.
Game had, 8,000 views last night?
Yeah, it did. It was, quite interesting.
No, everybody watching this right now probably watched that game last night. I mean, we both even watched it.
Yeah, we did. I was sitting in the basement watching other games on this very computer.
Watching on my laptop.
There we go. It came up finally. What a game this was last night. I mean, De Pere, they pulled away for a minute, and I said, you know what? I think De Pere's going to win this game. And then Ashwaubenon right away came right back in. I'm like, really? And then there was a couple of clutch free throws hit there, and I was like, oh, boy. Is Ashwaubenon going to get revenge? And they didn't. Price Gregory.
No, Ron Domovsky.
I always get the names wrong. I called the kid the wrong name on a buzzer beater last year.
It's all right. Some people, including their broadcasters, can't pronounce it right, but I mean.
Yeah, so Ron Domovsky, obviously, what am I thinking? They showed his dad, Rob Domovsky, the ESPN reporter for the Packers. He was standing there like it was a normal thing. Like, this happens all the time.
Are you looking at Matt Schneidemann's?
Yeah. He's like,
the Packers beat reporter.
He didn't even look impressed. I'm like, hey, man, your kid just beat one of the best, probably the best team in your area.
His adrenaline was probably just flowing, so he's just.
I mean, that was quite a game. And obviously, let me show you the other one I was going to talk about. I kind of just gave it away, but.
Okan?
No. I was going to keep my screen shared. And I'm not going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Waukesha North. Waukesha North did it last night. They pulled off an impressive win. They beat Oconomowoc 56-55. And I kind of looked back at the huddle stream because I'm like, I didn't know what the final score was, but I saw the game was close. So I'm like, I'm going to watch this to the end. And I saw Waukesha North hit a game-winning layup with like 1 second left, and they won the game. And Oconomowoc took the lead back after trailing for most of the game towards down the stretch, but then Waukesha North just came in and just won a big game, and we'll see Oconomowoc on the network on Saturday at the Fiserv Forum Prep Showcase. So they'll be playing Hortonville. Hortonville's a pretty good team up there this year as well. So
yeah, none of us will be on the call for that one, but it should be a pretty good game.
Yeah. So this was quite a game though, right here. Like just looking at the videos, because I'm like, Waukesha North I think they led for most of the game.
Well,
and then Oconomowoc just like decided. And then they got the lead back with like a minute left, and before you know it, Waukesha North hit that game.
Ocon's not having the great year, obviously. Last year they were terrible.
Yeah, last year we had them on twice, and
this year I don't think. I mean, what are they right now? They're probably like.
I don't know what seed they'd be right now, but
no, like record wise, like I think they're under 500 right now.
Yeah,
I mean, they're in a tough conference. Got to play all the good teams. Cut them rain twice. Arrowhead twice, I guess. Though you could say they're still having an okay year.
Yeah,
not the subpar year that Craig Haas wants, but still. I mean, they could beat any team at any given time.
Yeah, let's see who's putting up a fight here. Westdale Central had 103 points last night against Pius. Just scrolling through here, see some scores.
Those are all the Greater Milwaukee games?
No, this is statewide.
I was going to say.
Middleton beat Janesville Craig by 1. I think Will Garlock, I heard, had a pretty good game last night.
Him and driving me nuts on that.
Sun Prairie West beat Verona by 2. That sounds like that was a good game.
Hey, Sun Prairie West, how about them?
Yeah,
imagine how much better they'd be with Chris Davis this year.
Yeah, he went to his crosstown rival.
West beat them too, right?
Yeah. Kaukauna beat Hortonville. That was a big game by 11. New Berlin West beat New Berlin Eisenhower 60 by 17. Kimberly. Let's see here. So that was one of the rivalry games last night.
There's a lot more rivalry games coming up this weekend.
Yeah, this Friday. Tomorrow too a little bit. All right, let's go to tomorrow. And then we got to get to the girls' side things too.
Well, I guess if people want to get a little technical, I guess the game, there's not really that many games today, but
there's 8.
the game that I guess sticks out the most tonight is just Milwaukee Lutheran at Oak Creek,
which is a makeup game.
Oak Creek is playing a back-to-back. They beat Racine Horlick by 50 yesterday.
Yeah.
And now they get to play Milwaukee Lutheran, a team they fell to last year.
They fell to them last year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
At Milwaukee Lutheran. I mean, we'll talk more about Oak Creek in a bit, but we'll recap or kind of preview a couple more games after this.
All right, sounds good. What are
your thoughts about those shoot?
Yeah.
We don't know too much about that. I'll be honest about that. I've heard about I remember watching the Post Crescent stream last night.
Yeah.
And them talking about that game.
What game?
The Little Shoot versus Freedom.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not too familiar with that area.
All right, Thursday we go. All right. Anything that sticks out? Oh, I almost skipped that. I almost skipped it. Let's pull her up. Let's talk about life. There's something on the line in the North Shore tomorrow. Big one.
Is it for a tiebreaker? Or?
I have no clue. I haven't even looked at the standings, but it's Homestead versus Slinger. We saw Slinger on last Saturday at the border battle against Prospect. It was a good game. I thought so. Elijah told me he thought the game would be better. No, I'm kidding. No. So Homestead, obviously, always a great team in the North Shore. Slinger's having a heck of a year, though. I think they've only lost one game to Freedom. We were just talking about Freedom.
So I'm doing a little bit of research right now. The North Shore standings right now, Slinger's 13-0 right now in first place. Nicolay at second place, 11-2 in conference, 2 games behind. Homestead, they're pretty much out of reach for conference right now, down 3 games, 10-3. But you got to figure if they can beat a team like Slinger, that could be really huge. I mean, we don't bet, but we know that website Massey ratings too well.
Yeah,
it actually projected Homestead to beat them -1.5 spread over Slinger.
Really?
And we just figured. I mean, you just told me about this last week. I knew it for only about a week now. I mean, they've been pretty spot on with their projections and all that.
Yeah,
lately.
All right, nothing new here.
But yeah, Slinger. I mean, they've had a great season. Obviously, you guys saw it on Zaleski Sports last weekend against Mount Prospect, Illinois. They with those games, just like what Mark Miller says, right? You could have a losing record team from Illinois come in to play a team that's state caliber in Wisconsin, and they could come in and beat them like it's nothing, right?
Yeah.
And Mount Prospect gave Slinger a ride last weekend.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was. The lead was big at first, but Mount Prospect kind of gathered themselves. But I think just at the end of the day, the Conan brothers, Jack and Joey, who are freshmen and sophomore, think about that, how bright the future is for head coach Alex Levine.
Oh, yeah.
They've got something cooking there, and only one loss since the start of the season. So this is definitely something that we're going to keep an eye on down the stretch, possibly seeing Slinger closing on a D2 state championship game.
All right. So let's head back. I'm going to stop sharing because – stop sharing and caring.
Let's see a couple more games.
I'm just going to pull this one up. It's not as big as we all thought it was going to be, but you know what? You never know. It's early in the year we actually had plans to do this game, but obviously we're having this team on Saturday and we're having this team on again next week, and we just had the other team on last week. So, but
we get number 1 on.
Park against Case. Last year this was a big matchup. Case obviously won the conference, and Park's probably going to win it this year. Case, we saw them last week. Park just very dynamite right now. Their closest game was Greenfield. In Greenfield, they beat by 1 point. They were trailing. It was one of those games where
just think about it. The one game Racine Park lost was on the network on the Thanksgiving shoot at Racine Case when Park fell to Racine St. Catharines, and kind of brings me back, right? Remember Lamont Hamilton?
Yeah.
Week before he beat Park, he just won a state championship, and it's just like I almost want to say it's a full circle moment for him, being able to be one of the best, being able to be the team to beat in the state in St. Cat's at football, to beating one of the best in the state in Racine Park in basketball. And
Crazy.
I think he dropped like 30 that game or something like that. Just
wow.
That's why I call him like the Travis Hunter of WIA sports, because he can. I mean, he's not. What is he? Wide receiver is it in football and basketball? He's an amazing guard.
All right.
But Racine Park's been on a heater ever since they won their last 16. After they haven't looked back after that, you could say.
All right, I'm just going through here, and I don't see much.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right, we got a couple for Friday too that we got our eyes on, including a game we're doing.
I accidentally clicked on Hamon Peace Academy here. Man, my clicker's just everywhere. There's 167 games Friday night. We'll go to the first one because that's the game we're doing. Right on top. Makes it nice and easy for me. Everyone's like, "You're going there?" Yeah, we are.
So you got a lot of analysis on this game too before we get kind of into it more.
Yeah, we're going there on Friday night. We're going to Franklin High School again on Friday night. Oak Creek at Franklin. We're actually doing both games. We're doing the boys. Ooh, the boys' game is going to be pretty good. The girls, you never know. But
I mean, they came off a win against Racine Park. Obviously, it hasn't been a great season for them, but
yeah. Franklin boys, meanwhile, fell to Racine Park last night. Oak Creek boys beat Horlick by what you say 50 points.
And
you got to play good basketball to do that. I don't care how good the
we still before we head into the final segment, go over the hot teams right now too.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for that. There might be a surprise team that we might be talking about the last couple of times that really I got a lot to say about them. They're on something.
So you got,
Oak Creek Franklin, going back to that matchup. You'd think this is the last time in the SEC these two teams face each other.
Mm-hmm. Last time ever.
You got to think that head coach Tyler Puddle at Franklin has a lot of motivation to win this game. It's Friday night.
And there's no non-conference game scheduled between these two next year. So that's the interesting part that I found.
And they want to play spoiler one last time in their rival.
Never know. Nothing would shock me.
And, well, I would pull up the other game, the Brookfields.
The Brookfields, yeah.
That's going to be a good game.
Greenfield. I'm going to pull this one up first. I have a feeling this is under the radar.
Coming in on a big win.
We're going to pull up the Hustlin' Hawks of Greenfield and the Panthers of Greendale. That's going to be a good game because obviously Greendale, like we just talked about them, that was my surprise team tonight. It's coming into our first annual show. Greendale beat Pewaukee yesterday, but Greenfield, 17-1. They're top 5 in Division II. They're only lost to Racine Park by 1 point. 1 point. And they're in the same sectional as each other.
I think they bring a lot of great prospects into their school, which makes them really great. And their only loss was their Park, where I only, 2 points at this very school we're at right now.
Yeah, right across the street.
Right across.
Yeah, so it's right around here. So, but that's just insane because Greenfield, 2 years ago, they were pretty good. Last year, they were a little bit, okay. But then this year, they're very, very good.
A couple of good players.
Yeah. Obviously, if they beat Park, I think they're state bound. But Park's a really good team, though.
I think that game's going to bring out a big crowd in that community. That's going to be a big rivalry game. Battle of the Greens. Dale and Field are going to be going at it.
Yeah, there's a big population difference between both of them. Greendale's a village. Greenfield's a city. Greenfield obviously has Whitnall in it too, though. So there's two.
Whitnall's been playing better lately too, from what they started.
New Berlin, Eisenhower. No, not that one.
Was it Central's playing New Berlin West? That's going to be a good game.
Once I find it.
I mean, we could just talk about it too. I mean, we could put it up though. We got time. 25 more minutes.
Where is it? It's probably at 7:30 because
they go to Greater Milwaukee at this point.
I'm just seeing if there's any games statewide I want to talk about too.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, here we go. This one was good last time. Yeah, obviously we already spoiled it for you, but we'll put it on the screen anyways. Brook Central, Brookfield East. Brookfield East a year ago. You'd wonder why we were talking about this game, but Brookfield East beat Brookfield Central last time, a strong second half. But Brookfield Central, we just saw they're projected number 1 seed in Division 2. So
big part of that is, you ready for this? Brookfield Central's on a 10-game winning streak right now, and they haven't lost in 2025 yet. Just think about that. So 2025, you could safe to say for Dan Wadry's been really fun so far.
2025 is the year of Dan Wadry. We'll just call it that.
Just like how, what was it, Nathan Marzi says the year of Damian Lillard every time for the Bucks.
Yeah.
It's the year of a player.
So Brookfield Central, Brookfield East, and obviously they have a girls' game before that. All right, so that's good.
Their last loss, though, was at the WBY shootout at Concordia.
That's right. They had a pretty good opponent there, didn't they?
Sheboygan North.
Yeah, that's a pretty good team.
Team that Oak Creek beat.
Let me make sure there's nothing I'm missing out on. Let me make sure. Let's go back to Instagram. Make sure there's nothing I'm missing out on. What are your thoughts about Little Shoot versus Freedom?
Like I said, I mean,
I'm gonna look at that game.
We could look at it, but we're not super familiar with like the teams up there.
Time to figure it out.
I mean, we're big. We know a lot about what's his name? Donovan Davis, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So you got Nolan. Now I'm gonna pull this up so that way people that they're joining us, they want to know, see what game we're talking about.
That's going to be one of the big games up north, right?
Yeah.
From what I remember here.
That'll decide if these people actually want to join us or not. So Freedom versus Little Shoot, obviously, like you just said, Donovan Davis, he leads in every 2 out of 3 categories.
He's looked at when we were at WBY. He was looked at by head coach Greg Gard of the Badgers and Green Bay's tanking program and Doug Gottlieb.
Yeah, that's and he's at Radio Row.
What's that?
That's the radio like where they have the Super Bowl.
Imagine,
and he's always in New Orleans right now.
Imagine he was trolling. Imagine he's trolling it this whole year, and then he goes on a heater in the Horizon League tournament. They're gonna be out right away. Probably one hit wonder. I guess.
I just don't get in college how you can lose that many games in a row. I mean, yeah. So we were talking about that one there. We're gonna stop sharing for a moment. I'm gonna move to the girls' side of it. By the way, this is all used on wisports.net.
Then after we talk about the girls' games, we'll talk about the hot teams in both divisions, which we talked about a couple of those teams already. But
what do we got?
A quick fresher.
Let's see if we got any spot out girls' games on Friday.
Zaleski's had a couple of great games up north on the past week, from what I remember. What was it? It was Pittsville, right? Pittsville and Auburndale? Assumption?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something.
Is there already a forfeit for tomorrow?
Is that what they do when they put it 2-0, I guess, the score?
Possibly, or else, yeah.
The free 2 points?
Yeah. Verona, Madison Memorial. Not sure how good those girls' teams are. If I can't find anything, I guess I got to go back and look at the other day. Yep, let's head back to the other day. Let's head back to Tuesday. That would have been, right? Yep. I'll bring up the one girls' game that comes up across the top of my mind. One in the Milwaukee area.
That was a good game. We were actually, fun fact, thinking about doing this game at first, but we have a really tough. Oh, dang. I mean, I got some important news, but not now. I mean, we could talk about this first.
Is it NBA?
No, NFL.
Uh-oh.
During the Packers, too. No, we could talk about that in a second.
Okay. Who did we trade?
Well, it's just, I mean, it's not an official trade, but it's a big rumor.
Okay. So Homestead beat Hartford 77-76 last night. Hartford was rolling coming to this game, too. And I think they only had 1 or 2 losses. But Hartford, I remember seeing them at the state tournament last year. They were pretty good for girls basketball. And Homestead, they just beat Hortonville last week, too.
D2 so there in Hartford or D1?
Yeah, so they're on a tear right now. Hartford's in D1. But
D1. Yeah.
Homestead just is on a tear right now. They beat Hortonville a couple of Saturdays ago.
Pewaukee they lost to at state last year, right?
Yeah,
Pewaukee's just
Pewaukee. Oh, wait, no. Hartford lost to Nina.
Nina.
Because Pewaukee's in Division 2 last year.
Pewaukee played in D2. Was it Tosi? No, it wasn't Tosi.
That was Notre Dame.
I forget.
Pewaukee played West Salem, I think, and
good memory.
Good memory. I don't know how I remember that because I think West Salem was the only team that was there that I didn't recognize. or not in our area, I should say. Hartford Homestead, that was a good game. But you know what? Give me your Packers news. Who are the Packers rumored to get?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say like we traded for him yet, but it's getting pretty close that Devontae Adams could be a Packer again.
And who said this?
Josh Jacobs. He reported it himself on Twitter.
Ooh.
Packers running back Josh Jacobs says he has talked to wide receiver Devontae Adams about the possibility of him returning back to Green Bay as a strong potential threat to bring back.
We are so back.
Remember, this morning I got a notification. Packers looking for a wide receiver 1. Jordan Love, that could be your answer.
Somebody just asked on Instagram, what are our thoughts about Fond du Lac beating Germantown?
That was actually one of the teams I was going to put for the hottest teams.
Yeah. So we were just there. We were at that gym this couple hours before that. We had Brookfield Central on. Yeah, I listened.
Fondy, man.
I watched a little bit in the huddle stream after that. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
Fondy's actually ranked in the top 10 now in Division 1 by the coaches poll in West Sports. They were unranked last week, and they are 14-5 right now. Nick Ford doing a really great job coaching his team over there. Let's see. They won their last 5 games, but their only loss lately has come to Kakana, Kakana's been on a different level as well. Yeah. But you look at the teams they beat, right? Germantown's a big win. Neenah's a big win. Mm-hmm. Hortonville, obviously. And, yeah, I mean, that's a big three-game stretch right there. Mm. Oh, I forget that Chuck Freeman, K5's radio had him on too at that event.
Oh yeah, we listened to him. We put it on in the car on the way home after we left Cracker Barrel.
Dumplings.
Yeah, how does Cracker Barrel run out of dumplings? We went there. I'm like, that was the one thing I was looking forward to. Yeah. I'm like,
the interesting thing too about Fond du Lac. Yeah, they started the year 0-3, and ever since.
They do. Fond du Lac seems like that. They're always that team that starts out so bad and they turn it around.
Ever since they were 14-2.
Yeah.
So they just turned into a dark horse and D1, right? They're in D1.
Yeah. See Madison. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna go there yet.
They went from unranked to 8th. So the coaches poll thinks that Fond du Lac's becoming a bigger threat now, which I would have to agree on that. I'm not a coach, but I mean I am a coach, but for Rec League, not WIA.
And I'm a coach for Pony League Baseball.
I'll be inactive this weekend because we got special event to work this weekend that I don't want to miss out on.
Yeah, so the show will remain on Wednesdays through May. After that, it depends on when the Rockies decide to play. So if they decide to play on a Wednesday at 5:20, there's no way we're going to be able to do the show. We'll just move it to Thursday and maybe different times. But that's once May comes around.
And you help me out with basketball. I'll return the favor to help you out with your team as well this year. Game Changer is going to be my I'll be the cheerleader. Game changer.
Well, we got another job for you.
What am I running with the players?
No.
What do you?
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put you with the kid that struggles the most. I'm kidding. No.
So you want me to do that with you? You want me to do that with you for the rec basketball too?
We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna point fingers or do any names like that.
All right, let's get to the hot teams right now. Let's start with boys. I'm actually gonna start off with a team close to home.
I'm gonna shut this down.
I'm gonna start with a team close to home. We're gonna go with the Oak Creek Knights, head coached by Eric Hollow.
Who are they?
Yeah, they're just some random team in Milwaukee County, right?
Yeah, I guess.
13-3 they are. This is arguably athletic director Scott Holler there, who we work really well with at that school, being alums there. Let me tell you, they're on a heater right now. 7 straight wins in a row, including a big one against the top 10 team in Division 1, Sheboygan North. We actually were there. We didn't do the game, but it was the game right before our game against Brookfield Central and Whitefish Bay. Oh boy. Oak Creek, they could score the ball this year. In their winning streak, I'm just going to read it off to you. The points they've scored in all those games: 71 against Case, 88 against St. Augustine Prep, 82 against Kenosha Bradford, 74 against Sheboygan North, 90 against Kenosha Tremper, 80 against Indian Trail, and 85 against Racine Orlick. So safe to say Eric Hollow, as Pat Peck's turning up their projector, they're really leading a great squad over there. They got a lot of great players. Dan Franklin the fourth, Jaquan Turner, the rising freshman. They just got a lot of great guys. Cam Davids.
Speaking of that, Somebody asked, do we think Fondy could beat De Pere? No.
Not right now.
Fondy's a good team, but they ain't going to beat De Pere, I don't think. Because that De Pere team's on another level. Who knows what they're going to do if they're going to get to Madison this year. I think they will. But who am I thinking about a hot team? I'm trying to think.
I'm gonna say my other one.
Go.
If you're Brookfield Central. I mean,
There you go.
we talked about them already. I mean, we already said this is the year of Dan Wandry.
Seems like it.
I mean, come on, 10-game winning streak right now and undefeated in 2025. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's playing the.
What if his New Year's resolution was we're not going to lose in 2025, and that's going to include the 2025-2026 year start.
Well, he's in for a very exciting year if that's the
It's going to
case.
be the new De Pere, right? Or Wisco Lutheran, if you will. I mean, I would say they're a hot team, but I mean they've been like this like a whole year.
I forget he won a state championship in 18 or 19 or something like that.
Wandry, yeah. I mean,
he's definitely been
right now. They have a chance. I'm not going to rule them out. I mean, they're some of their big wins are highlighted by German. You know, I don't want to say there's teams on declines, but Germantown's been one of those teams that's been kind of in a slump right now. Like they were one of the dark horse teams to start the year, and
they've lost some games that that were tough losses for them,
but I think Brookfield East controls the conference right now.
That's always quite a conference.
9-2 in conference, right? Oh yeah. How about this too? Brookfield Central and Brookfield East winner of that game keeps control of the conference. So that's going to be a big game Friday night.
Big game in the Brook. That's what I think. It's going to be a big game in the Brook.
It's going to be at a school. I guess it's good that we don't go there. No offense to them, but we've been there a lot lately. But that game's going to be at Brookfield East on Friday. I think their game's still going to be on their huddle camera on YouTube. Or
I shut it down.
Oh.
Yeah, it'll be at least they're free still. A lot of schools decided we don't want to offer free streams anymore, but at least they still do. So
who's your hot team?
Oh boy, I got to think about this. Let me look at those rankings once. Appleton North has played some pretty good basketball this year compared to how other people thought. Let's see here. Give me Division 3. You know what? I can't say MAS because they've been pretty good all year. St. Cat's, they've been playing better basketball recently. They had a couple of tough losses. They lost to Racine Lutheran earlier this year. They beat them back. They beat Racine Park. What am I thinking? They beat Dominican once. I mean, Racine St. Cat's is playing better basketball right now, but Racine Lutheran, they played pretty good basketball this year too. A lot better than people thought they were going to. Racine Lutheran, it took them 12 games to lose, so they beat Dominican down that stretch. Their first game
was a great game we had on.
Yeah.
I just want to say,
and Dominican had to leave with 20 seconds left. So I mean,
looking up north with the team with like Ashwaubenon,
yeah,
they get a good break. They get a good break not having to play those teams like De Pere again, State. But they're got to go through great Milwaukee teams like Slinger, Racine Park, Nicolay if they want to win state, and Brookfield Central if they could get there. But they got D2's filled with a lot of Milwaukee area teams. Same with D1's kind of a mix.
Yeah.
It's great. Kind of cool to see Oak Creek in there too.
Yeah.
Was it first time in 8 or 9 years technically that 3 players have scored over 20 points?
Yeah. All right.
So
let's move on to our final segment. Maybe if we finish a couple minutes early.
Yeah, your battery's running pretty low. I see.
Yeah.
I got to charge my laptop too before.
Well, I can't. So this Saturday we're heading to the big, well-known new thing. The Fiserv Forum Prep Showcase.
The world class.
The world famous Fiserv Forum Showcase. This is going to be a fun one. And we got a couple of good games that especially be under the radar this week that we should deal with. Starting off with especially Kohler, Lake Mills. I'm just going to pull up the schedule because I feel like I might forget one of the games.
It's gonna be a great Saturday. I hope everybody tunes in because I know not a lot of people are going to want to go outside in that small snow accumulation we're going to get. Hopefully it's overhyped.
They said 20 feet.
Imagine. We're going to get that 2011 blizzard all over again.
Oh, that was not fun.
Remember that being a little kid.
Yeah, okay. So here's some games that we got. Kohler Lake Mills. That's going to be a fun one.
And
both teams are better than I thought they were. So
keep in mind, all these games are going to be on Zaleski Sports. You could try to find the schedule on ZaleskiSports.com.
For $2. Not kidding. It's free.
Well, if you want to see we're going to promote this right now. If you want to see the VIP rankings with the seat score, and you can honestly play around with where each team sits in a bracket right now in each division. $5 a month at Zaleski Sports VIP. It's really worth it. Yeah. You can see where every team stands before the actual brackets come out.
Hortonville versus Lake. Oh my gosh. Hortonville versus Oconomowoc. 12 p.m. Well, I can't even read from here. Hortonville playing some pretty good basketball this year up in the Fox Valley. Oconomowoc.
A little bit down here, but they're in a great conference.
Oconomowoc, this would be a big win for them if they could get one on Saturday. I know they're bringing a big student fan base. They got student.
Are they?
Yeah, they got student.
Hortonville?
No, Oconomowoc.
Yeah.
They got the big student bus thing under just the game. Just the game.
They're going to be
website.
Hortonville from the state tournament this year, last year
from baseball.
From
Oh my
baseball.
gosh, that was crazy. 2 p.m. Racine Park versus Milwaukee Juno. Racine Park. You got Dooney Johnson over there in Juno.
No, I thought you said Racine Park as Juno. I was like,
No, Park.
Park's got a really great team all around.
Robinson.
Jackson Moss, the Becker brothers. I might be missing a couple of guys, but
Stevens Point, Sun Prairie East. You got Spash, well-known team in the network. Sun Prairie East. You got obviously
Chris Davis Jr. And we got what a game to finish it off.
Kellum Rain, the Brian Rickards Lasers head to Terrence Mitz Knights.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun event to be a part of. You're gonna be there the whole day. Obviously, we got to get there bright and early to set up. We're gonna put on a show for you guys there on the Zaleski Sports Network this weekend, and I'm sure everyone's gonna be tuning in. And then just embrace the moment for the good hoops we got coming up this weekend. Right? We got a lot of great games.
That's gonna be exciting, definitely. I'm definitely looking forward to this just to see how many people even come off.
Last year,
people we watch online.
Last year we were at a game at Fox, but it was just a prep game, just one game. It was a good game. Middleton versus Arrowhead.
Yeah, that was.
I remember when one of the players from Middleton jumped into the seats and then all of it came down. So think about it. They had a game that night too. So it was like this year they don't, obviously.
The Bucks employees must have been.
Imagine
furious.
the Bucks played at 9 Saturday night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we're gonna put up the sign. Doesn't mean
Debut show.
Debut show. Let's stop sharing this for now. So
what's your final word?
This is not just today. This is every Wednesday, and the show's going to get bigger and bigger as we.
Oh yeah.
Because just think about it.
Playoffs are right around the corner too. We'll be talking about previews of that.
And next week we'll talk about girls brackets that'll come out next Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but 2 Wednesdays from now. We'll spend a lot of time talking about the girls basketball ranking.
Oh, we'll walk through the brackets too.
Brackets. I keep saying rankings.
That next week it comes out, right? Not this weekend.
Yeah. So next Sunday. So that's just. So February 15th.
And then a little bit of an update on our schedule for girls basketball at the end. Was it the end of the month?
Yeah.
We're going to be at right before the season ends. We're going to be going to Al McGuire Center for Hortonville girls versus Arrowhead girls. And then we're going to try to get Marquette versus Arrowhead boys on. So we're going to try to get Arrowhead on the network.
It's called the Arrowhead Day.
Yeah, Arrowhead.
We should call it that.
Celebration of Arrowhead.
Yeah, there you go. So that Peck, Elijah Vangsoulatda, 4:52 p.m. We made it 52 minutes somehow.
Well, we'll see you guys Friday on Zaleski Sports, boys and girls basketball from Franklin High School between the 27th Street rivalry between the Oak Creek Knights and the Franklin Sabres. See you then.
See ya.